It's not going to go that fast. You're going to have to go back out. Try it now. Damn, stop. Try it now. Damn. Try it now. I mean, I can read it. What do you think?
Dude, that looks so good.
We could move that.
You want to pull it up on YouTube, Dan? Look at it.
What?
Go to Get Rip Collectibles on YouTube. That looks so good. You want to pull it up on YouTube, Dan? Look at it. Go to Get Rip Collectibles on YouTube.
Trying to see how this looks. I mean, we could just do it live. We'll just do it live.
Go to YouTube.
On some Bill O'Reilly shit.
Fuck it. We'll do it live. We'll just do it live. YouTube. Get ripped collectibles. Get ripped. We'll do it live. We'll just do it live.
Dude, it does look really clean on the TV.
I was trying to get that.
I could put it on my dang TV right here.
Dude, it looks so good.
You know what? I could. I know how to do it.
Look really clean on the TV.
All right, go to
the live.
Go to live, honey.
Dude, it looks so good.
She's having trouble.
The live.
He's a star.
He's a star.
Gator Dave is going places.
So should I have to keep the Gator or no?
I like it. It looks good.
Waving.
It does look good on the TV.
That is funny.
What?
I like it. It looks good.
So I wanted to. I was thinking about doing the SEC behind me. Is what I was thinking about doing. An
Oh my
SEC
god.
logo.
You're really hurting my. You're hurting.
I mean, it's better than the Gator, but goodness gracious, you just.
No, it's hard to swallow. You're a Hurricane fan.
We gotta do something about your taste.
Oh look, Steel City. What up, Steel? Hey, Dad.
Yo.
What do you think about just running live, baby?
Yeah, we might as well just go live, man. We're already here.
What up, Steel?
You ready to go?
You want to go live?
Let's do it. I believe in you.
You gonna give me an intro? You gonna intro this thing or what?
All right. Ready?
Are we recording it?
We're gonna record it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
All right. You want to stop streaming for a minute?
What you want to eat?
Hold on, Dad.
No, we're streaming. Yeah, we're streaming this sucker. We're doing this Bill O'Reilly style, Dave.
All right, guys. We are here, Get Rip Collectible family, to show you our Week 2 college picks.
Yes, yes.
And I'm happy to present to you a really close friend of mine, an expert in college football, Mr. Gator Dave.
Gator Dave, everybody.
Gator Dave, everybody. All right. How you doing, Dave?
I'm good. How about you guys?
We're doing great,
Good,
man.
man.
We're doing great. We're happy to see you. You're looking good. Looking real gatored out.
I know. All about the Gators, baby.
All right, so
I want to talk a little SEC today, though.
okay, I like it. So where are you at? Where are you gonna start for today?
Well, we're gonna start. We're gonna start at the top of the list with the early games.
Okay.
And that South Carolina East Carolina game, which right now is kind of a pick'em. Little background on that game. So South Carolina in the SEC beat Eastern Illinois 46-0. So trounced them pretty bad, but we know Eastern Illinois, if you even heard of them, maybe. Their starting quarterback, Zeb Nolan from Watkinsville, Georgia. But the interesting thing about Zeb is he's a graduate assistant. He played football for 4 years at Iowa State, but he's a graduate assistant. They ran out of quarterbacks in South Carolina, so they had to throw him on the field. He had 4 TD passes He was 13 of 22 for 121 yards, which not too bad. Not a lot of yardage though. I think the big offense comes from the backs there at South Carolina. You know, Marshawn Lloyd, big dude. He had 55 yards and White had 128. So they did fairly well running the ball. East Carolina, their opponent, lost to App State, which we know that's Miami's feast this weekend. But
yeah, we'll talk to them later.
East Carolina did lose to App State. So
what was the score of that game, Dave?
So I am going to go with South Carolina and stick to the SEC. I think they win by 7 points in this game. So the pick'em goes over to South Carolina.
I like it.
Good?
I like that.
I'm actually on the other side on that one. I'm not gonna bet either one personally, but the line is sketchy for me right there. South Carolina being a pick'em at East Carolina, I don't know. I think that grad assistant, while those are pretty good numbers, like you said, that Eastern Illinois, who are they, right? So I think it'll be a good test to see if that guy has got what it takes to be ready for SEC ball, let alone East Carolina. So I would lean towards more so on the East Carolina, but I'm not going to bet it one way or another for sure. So we're rocking with you on South Carolina.
All right.
I like it.
Well, next up, Pittsburgh at Tennessee. So the line here's 3.5. Pittsburgh's given 3.5 in this game. So to the Vols. So let's take a look at the Vols. What they did, they beat Bowling Green, a horrible team from the MAC, 38-6. Bowling Green's not good competition right now. They just got rid of their coach, so they're not in good shape. Tennessee's got a new quarterback this year, Joe Milton, transferred from Michigan. I'm not really high on this guy. He was only 12 of 24 for 145 yards, so not that great. However, Tennessee's offense did produce 475 yards on the week. So, and I think the most important thing to think here is they held Bowling Green to just a little over 200 yards, 219 yards. Granted, it is Bowling Green, but not a bad defensive effort there. So the thing about this game, it is at Tennessee. It's a good old Rocky Top there, and I'm not high on Pitt, even though they did beat UMass 51-7. I am on this game. I'm going to say that Tennessee's going to win by 7.
Ooh.
So I'm going out on a limb, going against the odds makers here, and that 3.5 that Pittsburgh's getting. I'm just going to say Tennessee's going to win this thing by 7. So I think it's a good bet right now.
What do you think about that one?
I like that bet. I had Tennessee on my list, so I gotta agree with you, Dave. But to be honest with you, the more I think about it, the more I'm tossing it up in the air. After you just threw those Milton numbers at me, now I'm rethinking some stuff. So I just went and looked at that total offense, this production that Tennessee had against Bowling Green last week, and they had like 250 yards between two backs on the ground. Whereas in comparison, Pittsburgh, I mean, granted, they jumped up on UMass pretty early. They were up 13 at the end of the first. So how much is UMass really going to be able to run the ball, or how much were they running? But they didn't give up anything. They gave up like 30 yards rushing on the ground. So I think that's the key to this game, because I'm with you. I think Milton's accuracy is questionable. He didn't start at Michigan for a reason. So I think it's going to come down to running game, and at that point, I do like Pittsburgh's front seven. They are solid. They had a lot of guys come back from last year. So I'm actually going to stay away from this game now after that we discussed it. But I will throw you on Tennessee side for your pick, sir.
All right.
And
looking up next, staying in town in Georgia. So we got UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham at Georgia. Number 5, Georgia.
All right.
Georgia is given 24.5 points. So, obviously, last week, the biggest game of the week, seeing the Dogs beat up on Clemson 10-3. Total defensive battle here, and I think that's what Georgia's going to hang their hat on right now because there is a chance that JT Daniels might not play in the game. He's questionable right now. So he's dealing with a rib core injury and might not play. So Bulldogs defense, though, toughest around, hard to beat. And with the 24.5 points, I'm going to lean toward JT Daniels playing in the game, getting them a start out there, and then second half they put in the backup, but far enough ahead to where they're going to cover this game.
Hey,
So,
Gator Dave, just to let you know, on the YouTube we have a comment from an Ian Cupello saying UGA is now number 2, not 5.
What's up, Ian? What's going on, man?
That is a good point. They are number 2.
Yeah, they moved
That's right.
up
They
after
went from
that
5 to 2.
after that game against Clemson.
And Ian Capella, that graduate from up the road there in Athens, he is right about that. So I guess I was being wishful thinking that he was the Dogs were 5th. So number 2, Georgia Bulldogs.
Okay.
You're right. But I say your Dogs are going to cover today, Ian.
So you're on Georgia on that one?
I am.
I'm on Georgia on that one as well.
I'm with you too. I think we're all in agreement on that one.
All right, next up we've got Texas A&M at Colorado. So number 6 A&M playing in Colorado. A&M beat the mighty Kent State Golden Flashes.
Ooh.
Yeah, Golden Flashes. You got to watch them. So 41-10. Texas A&M beat Kent State. They racked up 600 total yards of offense. Their new quarterback, his name is Haynes King, was 21-33 for almost 300 yards, 292 yards. However, 3 interceptions. So the young man did have a little bit of a rough day when it came to flinging the ball around. Now, the strength of that offense this year, is gonna be that backfield. Spiller and Ankney, 237 yards total between the two of them. That's gonna be tough to beat in a lot of situations. They say many that that bacfield's the best in the SEC. I think maybe right now it is, but by the end of the year, I think my Gators are probably gonna take that over. But Colorado, big win over Northern Colorado, 35-7, which is interesting. They, but I really think A&M's going to come at them hard and win by. I'm saying they're going to win by 18.
Okay.
So they're going to cover their 17 and win by 18. So that's where I'm going to lean on this one.
All right, so it's close. Y'all heard it. Make sure to get it at 17 before it jumps to 18 if you're going to go on it.
Let's see. Next up, we've got Texas at Arkansas. This is the old Southwest Conference game, right?
Right.
Number 21, Texas is they're giving 6.5 points to the Hogs. But our SEC Hogs last week defeated Rice 38-17. One thing interesting about that game, through 3 quarters, 17-17 through 3 quarters. So they got a little happy. Rice had some issues at the end of the game, and they turned around and won the game. Arkansas did. They're breaking in a new quarterback. Everyone knows our boy Felipe Franks, ex-Florida, ex-Hog, now Falcon, is no longer there. So they've got K.J. Jefferson. He was 12 of 21 for 128 yards, a TD, and an interception.
Okay.
Arkansas had a total of 373 yards of offense, but gave up 308 yards of offense to Rice. So I'm definitely leaning all over Texas on this one, and I think they win the game by 10 points. With the line being 6.5, they're gonna win by 10 easy. I just don't think even playing at Arkansas that they're gonna stand a chance.
Yep, I agree, Dave. I'm with you on Texas as well. I think they're gonna just. I think Texas. This is one of their statement games where it makes people look at them and go, "Oh shit, Texas might actually be back."
Yeah, they beat an SEC team.
Yep.
So, some clout. So.
Yep, I agree.
All right, next on the list. This one's gonna maybe shake some folks up. So we got NC State at Mississippi State. NC State given 2.5, and I know everybody thinks, oh, the mighty SEC on this one. But let's talk about the teams first. Mississippi State last week didn't play that well actually. They scored 21 points in the final 12 minutes to win 35-34 over La Tech. So, I mean, they struggled to beat La Tech. I mean, by the hair of their chinny chin chin. NC State, however, just plowed their opponent this past week. And there's a couple of things about NC State that I don't think people are realizing. And they had a decent season last year. I think they were like 8-3, and they're bringing 20 to 22 starters back to that team. So I feel pretty strong about NC State. I feel very strong about them just blowing the doors off Mississippi State in this particular game for sure. So I'm definitely picking NC State all the way here. I think they'll beat Mississippi State by 10 points this game. So because a lot of people are underestimating NC State right now, and I think that could, if they continue to play well, I think they will. I mean, that could be an opponent that could give Clemson a little bit of trouble.
Yeah,
that's my 2 cents on that one.
I could see it. Initially, I was on Mississippi State, but again, looking more so at the stats of how they played. I mean, it was pretty bad, like you said. They scored 21 in the last 12 minutes to kind of pull away and ultimately beat them. But they did have to come back. I mean, they were down 31 to, was it like 14 at some point, I think, or something like that. I mean, it was brutal. I'm trying to see if they had any turnovers on the game and what that was. If that was so Mississippi State had 4 turnovers. I mean, they had 3 fumbles lost and 1 pick. Luckily, they were playing La Tech, right? I mean, this week they're playing NC State. They can't afford shit like that. So I think I'm with you. I think I'm gonna jump off of Mississippi State.
I agree.
And I think I'm gonna switch over to the other side and rock NC State with you on this.
I agree. I think NC.
I think that one's a sure bet, guys.
Sure.
So is that your best bet of the week?
Is that your pick of the week?
That's a lock. I got one more coming up. That one's a lock for sure.
So is that your pick of the week? You'd say?
I think it is, just because a lot of people, around here in SEC country don't think much of NC State, kind of underestimate them. So there's another game coming up that we're going to talk about next that I think it's another easy money game, but that's my big one.
Cool. I like it. It's on the board.
And next up, when we're talking about Missouri, Kentucky, and Kentucky's given 5 here. So Kentucky beat Louisiana Monroe 45-10, 564 yards of total offense. And here's the interesting part: Kentucky held Louisiana Monroe to 87 yards of total offense. I don't care how bad the other team is. That's some pretty damn good defense right there.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So I'm impressed with their first win. It's Kentucky. We got to see how things go. But Missouri They beat my boy Jim McElwain's Central Michigan Chippewas by only 10 points, 34 to 24. Not real impressed at all. They've got that hot quarterback, Basilak, that did pretty well last year. He was 21 of 32 for like 250 yards, no interceptions. And they had the running back Beatty ran for 200 yards. So pretty decent on the offensive side of things to get that 34 points. But their defense gave up 425 yards to the Chippewas, Jim McElwain. Horrible. So I'm not a believer in the Tigers defense at all, and a firm believer that Kentucky's gonna run it up on these guys, and I think Kentucky will win by 12.
Wow.
Yep.
They're giving 5, but I think they're gonna win by 12 in this game, and that's another one I feel pretty good about. Maybe not as strong as NC State, but I think that's a sure bet too.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I like that one a lot, Dave. Just a couple of numbers here to even support your theory here with going with Kentucky. So that Missouri game, like you were talking about, 34-24 over Central Michigan. Missouri actually was 1 for 11 on third down in that game, which is extremely weak. That's not a good sign to see from any offense, especially against a team like Central Michigan. You're going 1 for 11 on third down. Also, Central Michigan threw 2 interceptions. Missouri didn't have a single turnover, so for the game to only be 34-24 with a +2 turnover edge, that's not a good sign either.
Yeah, they could have lost. They could have lost that game.
Absolutely, absolutely. And even more so when you look at Kentucky's side. Kentucky actually had 3 turnovers versus Monroe. Monroe didn't have a single one, and they still blew the door off of them.
Yeah.
Monroe moved the offense a little bit better. They were 6 for 19 on third down. But granted, again, I don't think Missouri's going to be able to do anything against this Kentucky defense. I think they're going to have a lot of problems. So I'm 100% with you. I'm rocking Kentucky. I didn't have them on my board, but they 100% are now. So great pick on that one. I like that.
All right. Well, next up, the cellar dweller of the SEC, we got Vandy at Colorado State, and Colorado State's given 7. Vanderbilt is we all know that it's rough, and when they get rid of coaches and they got to rebuild, it's going to be even rougher, right? So they lost to East Tennessee State 23-3. I mean, just flat horrible. Only scoring 3 points. They did accumulate 321 yards of offense, but couldn't convert it. They had 2 interceptions and a fumble loss, though. The turnovers killed them. Colorado State did lose to South Dakota State. They had 304 yards of passing, 124 yards of rushing. I'm definitely going to say that Colorado State's gonna cover and win by even more than 7 at home against a just dismal Vanderbilt team. So that's where I'm leaning.
All right, I hear you on that. What is do you know the over/under on that game?
I do not.
Will you look
Did not
that
see
up,
that.
Jared? I think the play on that one might be the under. That's I think where I'm leaning on it, because Vanderbilt, I mean, they didn't give up. I'm looking at the game now. They really threw the game away through turnovers. They had 3 versus East Tennessee State 0. They're pretty even on third down. Vanderbilt had 16 more plays. Pretty even on penalties. They couldn't run the ball. Vandy had 80 rushing yards. East Tennessee State had 180. So it sounds like maybe a field position type of game.
I have the over/under.
What's the over/under?
50.5.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning the under on it if I was going to go one way or another. 50.5.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good bet because I don't think neither one of these teams are really going to.
Ian Capello saying 52. He may have a more
52.
updated.
Okay,
he's in
appreciate
New York.
that, Ian.
Thank you, Ian.
Yeah, I might lean the under on that. I don't see Colorado State or Vanderbilt putting up 30.
No, I agree. Totally agree.
So I may go under on that one, and
I like it.
but I could definitely see why you're on Colorado State for sure.
Yeah. All right. Next up, my boys, number 13 ranked Florida Gators at USF. They're in Tampa, playing in the stadium where the Bucks are playing today. So they are Florida's favored. They're given 28 points.
28.
That's a lot. That's a lot of points for anybody, even for a fan like myself. So last week they beat Florida Atlantic 35-14. A little inconsistent tossing the ball around by Emory Jones, threw 2 interceptions, one in the red zone, damn near in the end zone, and Mullen went for fourth and goal on the 2 and lost it. So some bad things happening down there in the first part of that game. The big bright side of the offense was a guy named Anthony Richardson, who was the backup quarterback. We are calling him. He is wearing the number 15, Tebow's old number, and we are calling him AR-15. So he looked pretty stout out there. He ran for 160 yards.
Wow.
It's Tebow-esque.
He actually, when I looked at the game closely, he actually had several drops by receivers. So I think all in all, he had a much better game than Emory Jones did. However, Emory's going to start again this week against USF. Just because Dan's not going to give up on him this early, so he's definitely going to start. But I do anticipate seeing a lot of Anthony Richardson for sure. So a couple other things that stood out for the fan here was 400 yards on the ground for Florida. That's the first time in many years we've run like that. Probably the last time we ran like that, I think I remember going to a Georgia game and beating it pretty bad when all we did was run the ball. With Trayon Harris being our quarterback.
What's up, Greg?
Shots fired.
How you doing, Greg?
The O-line actually ran block, which they couldn't do last year, the year before. So that's impressive that we could run the ball like we did. I think that's going to make for an interesting season for sure. If we can get one or both of these quarterbacks to throw with consistency, I think we're going to have a pretty decent team this year. So USF got hammered by NC State 45-0.
Yeah, they got
We
waxed.
talked about NC State earlier, being a pretty good team, but I think the Gators are as good or close enough to NC State, so I think we can cover the 28 points. So I'm going to go with
Florida.
the mighty Gators covering
All right.
on Saturday.
I think I'm with you. I wasn't on this game initially, but like what you said with the rushing, Ian wants us to fade Florida. I want to throw that out. What's up, Gray? What's going on, man? I'm with you, man. I think South Florida gave up almost 300 yards last week on the ground to NC State. I think Florida, Dan Mullen is going to be very ground driven this game, judging how Emory Jones did last game. He wants to build his confidence, get him going, and probably even see what your boy AR-15 is capable of too in the second half. So I'd like Dan and the Gators to put it on them early. I'd expect maybe even to cover this in the first half and then kind of coast through the second. That's what I would be worried about as far as covering, but yeah, they're going to handle South Florida easily, no problem.
Yep. Well,
No problem.
my last game, guys, I wanted to throw out at least one game that was not an SEC game, and that's going to be the Ohio State-Oregon game, which, should have some interest to two ranked teams. Ohio State being ranked 4th and Oregon ranked 11th. Ohio State's given 14.5 points in this game. They beat Minnesota in a tight game. It wasn't just god-awful impressive by Ohio State. The running back for Minnesota just ran on them hard. And, you know, I think had he stayed in the game and not gotten injured in the third quarter, it could have been even a closer game than the 45-31 we saw out of there. But, you know, JT Stroud looked pretty good, 13 to 22, 294 yards. I mean, they have some probably the best receiving core in the nation with the receivers they've got there at Ohio State. And I think this guy, you know, usually what you see in that second game is improvement, quite a bit of improvement, and I think he throws all over him pretty well. They did have 494 yards of total offense, but they gave up 408 yards on the defensive side. Oregon beat Fresno State, and in my opinion, they got lucky. They won 31-24 in a tight game. The Bulldogs from Fresno State, 373 yards of total offense. Oregon at 358. Had Fresno State not lost 3 fumbles, I think they would have beat Oregon. So I think it's a pretty good play to get those, to bet on Ohio State in this particular game. I think they cover that 14, and it ends up more like 21 when it's all said and done, at least, because I just don't think Oregon's that good of a team. And I think Ohio State's going to come out and play much better than they did last week. You know, even though not a lot of confidence in Oregon, but I think they'll take care of them. So that's my last pick.
All right. Initially I was on the other side on this. I liked Oregon with the points. I think it's a lot of points. The down factors, I will say, for Oregon, I mean, obviously they're going from Oregon to Ohio. That's a huge time change. Whether people want to believe it or not, that's a significant effect. Not only that, this is going to be Ohio State's, I believe this is their first home game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because they played in Minnesota last week, correct?
Yeah. So they'll be fired up. They'll be rocking. I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming this game is the primetime game for Saturday night. So Ohio State will be rocking. Their fans will be fired up. First full stadium in over a year. So they'll be ready to go. I initially liked Oregon here, again with the points, but I was not impressed with their quarterback play or their running play. I mean, they used all 3 running backs, and each one of them got double-digit carries. Didn't really do too much with it against Fresno. Not one of them eclipsed 80 yards, let alone 100. And this is for C.J. Verdell as well, who, you know, is on some people's Heisman list. So I wasn't impressed either. I did like the defense. I thought they came to play. Thibodeau getting hurt is not ideal. I think that plays a huge factor also in this game if he doesn't go. So I'm going to actually bounce off of this. I was initially on Oregon, like I said, but I'm going to jump off. You talked me out of it, so I'm backing out, and I'll put you down for Ohio State on that one.
All right. Very good.
All right.
Well, fellas, I appreciate you guys having me on this week, and you ever want me back, just give me a yell. I'm always here.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Basically.
Absolutely, we love having you, man. And if you got time, we got a couple more games we'd love your opinion on if you got a second. I know you necessarily didn't have your stuff ready for it, but we'll see what your opinion is for sure. So Georgia Southern is playing at FAU this week. That's one that I have my eye on. FAU is favored by 7, so they're giving Georgia Southern the points. You saw FAU play last week. You know them pretty well. I think Florida plays them pretty often. What do you see on that game? How do you see that going?
Well, they've got your old quarterback, I believe, don't they?
They do, yeah. N'Kosi Perry, yeah.
That's right. He was a cane. So
that's right.
That one's going to be tough. I don't know enough about. You said Georgia Southern, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Georgia Southern. You do, if they're still playing the triple option, that's going to throw a kink in it for FAU, right? If they're still playing that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That offense, and that's probably
Yeah, no, that's where I was going with it. With FAU coming off of playing you guys, how much are they really been thinking about Georgia Southern and the option play and stuff like that? Um, and if you're not ready for that option play, I mean, it can kick you on your ass. So I liked Georgia Southern in this position. I think I'm gonna stick with it. I think on a short week like that, they may catch FAU slipping, especially with the points. I think they cover, if not win. So that's where I'm at with it.
I think I
Put the
agree
game
with
on
you.
in that TV.
Right on.
Can you put
Just
it in that?
because of the triple
It's on
option.
this one.
I like it. Locking it in. All right, next one I got for you is Iowa State. I think that's where game day is actually this week, college game day.
It is.
What are you thinking on that? Any one way or another?
So what's the line? What's the line on that one? Iowa State, right?
Yeah, it was when we started. I think it was Iowa State -4.5.
And here's the kicker. So the coach at Iowa State, who everybody loves, has not ever
What are
beaten
y'all trying to do?
Iowa.
Turn the game on.
So I don't have it. It's on Peacock.
I don't know.
That's a little tidbit. So in the past, he has not been able to beat him. So even in Ames, he's lost the last 2 games to Iowa in Ames. So definitely something to consider. Is he finally going to get the monkey off his back? And now they're ranked higher than they've been in a while. So definitely something to consider there. But I've got a gut feel on this one. It's the monkey's coming off, and he might be able to succeed.
You think Iowa State might sneak one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think just based off of it's about time, and this guy and he's I think he might have his magic this year.
All right. I could see it. I'm on Iowa on this one. I think Iowa's. I'm big on the trench play, and Iowa's got some hosses on both sides. So I think I'm on Iowa for sure. Iowa's won 5 straight in this one. That's a fun fact. You mentioned that they've won 2 straight in Ames, which is huge. It's a hard place to get a win. Also, this is the first time that Iowa and Iowa State have been ranked at the same time playing each other. So it's definitely going to be a dogfight for sure. But I'm going Iowa. I like Kirk Ferentz. I like what he does there. He's been there for, I feel like, my entire lifetime, if not longer. So I'm going Iowa. But I'm getting you down for Iowa State. That's one that we'll come back next week on and discuss that one for sure and how that one went. I'm excited to see that one. What do you think about Liberty and Troy? Any thoughts on that one?
Ooh, I would not even know where to go on that one, to be honest with you. Liberty and that's Liberty's our ex Ole Miss guy, aren't we?
Yep, Hugh Freeze. Right? Yep.
So what's the line there?
So the line is Liberty is favored by 4. They're giving Troy 4 points.
That's interesting. I don't know enough about Troy, but I can tell you Liberty did well last year, and they're supposed to do well this year. So I might lean Liberty.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with it. I took Liberty last week in their opening game, and they absolutely beat the brakes. So I don't even remember who they played now. But they were favored like 22, covered it easily. Liberty's got a lot of guys coming back from that team last year. They're trying to make a name for themselves and put that school on the map for football. So I'm with you. I think Liberty is going to kill Troy in this game. I think 4 is way too generous. I think they're expecting Troy to have a good home crowd. Maybe the game's at night, and that's what's playing a factor here. But I definitely like Liberty for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think about Hawaii, Oregon State? Any thoughts there? Going out west.
I don't.
Way west.
Way west. Wild,
Yeah.
Wild West.
So Hawaii is 1-1 and Oregon is 0-1, right? So
Yep.
Oregon.
Are they at
State,
Oregon?
Yeah, they're at Oregon State.
Oregon's gonna win.
They're at Oregon State.
Oregon's taking it.
Yeah, Oregon. I mean, Hawaii is just new, like historically very bad anywhere but Hawaii.
Yeah, I couldn't make a good push on that. I don't know enough about those two teams.
I got you. I'm
Even
rocking.
picking.
I'm with Jared. I'm with Public House on this one. I'm going Oregon State. I think they cover that 11 pretty easily against Hawaii. They're not very good, in my opinion. I don't think they got the depth to compete with Oregon State. Oregon State gave Purdue a good game last week. They competed all the way to the end. So I think based off of competition and kind of having to do that, as well as the fans being rowdy and ready to play at home again, full stadium, I'm going Oregon State on that one. Kansas at Coastal Carolina.
Oh, I can tell you without looking. What's the line?
26.5.
Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot of points, even for that game. But Coastal Carolina's ranked, correct?
They are. This is supposed to be a year that they're going to be in a New Year's Bowl, and a lot of people want to see them maybe even be in it higher than that.
Wow. And Kansas, we know, are cellar dwellers and have been, always will be.
Yep. Kansas won their first game last week against South Dakota by 7. That was their first win they've had in over 2 years.
That's right. Oh man, that's a lot of points.
I agree. I think that's too many points to fuck with. What's the over/under on it?
52.
I would go under 52.
See, the thing that fears me is what if Coastal puts up 40 and beats them 42-14. That's how I see it going. It's something like that. Because Coastal, they only play so many Power 5 schools. They gotta really make a statement. And luckily, I mean, they played Kansas.
The quarterback was 16 of 19, which is only 3 incomplete passes for 262 yards.
That's pretty lethal.
Yeah. 73 yards rushing. I don't know. That's a lot of points though.
Oh wow! Actually, Kansas only beat South Dakota by 3, 17-14. That's how that game ended. South Dakota had all their points in the second half.
I don't think I'd touch that one. You know, and I don't think I'd touch that one. I just don't. I don't feel good about that one either way. I'd be more leaning toward Coastal Carolina not covering that.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. I'm pulling up how.
But it's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm leaning Coastal. I mean, I had Coastal on there. I don't think the offense is going to be any issue for Coastal. They're going to put up points pretty easily on Kansas. Kansas gave up 165 yards rushing to South Dakota. That's FCS South Dakota. So now, granted, you know, Coastal played Citadel. Citadel is not a powerhouse by any means. But
last year, here's something to think about, Mike. So last year they played each other.
Okay.
38-23.
Who was it? Coastal?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, but my thing with that, that's good information. So that was 15 points right there. I think Coastal got better, and I think Kansas probably got worse in between that time frame. And was that game at Kansas? Or was that at
But
Coastal?
remember, they, Kansas, they were 0-8 in the Big 12, and then they lost. I mean, did they even win a game last year?
No, they didn't win a game for 2 years before they just beat this
Yeah, so
South
Kansas
Dakota
didn't
team.
win a game, and last year Coastal won by 15. And what's the line now?
26.
26. I'm telling you, I wouldn't touch that one. I don't feel good about that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think I'm still leaning Coastal on this. They're playing at home. It's a night game. Their fans will be rowdy. This is a big game for them. They gotta win if they want any shot at any sort of big time game at the end of the year or any playoff game or anything like that.
Oh, they gotta win it.
They gotta win it.
I think they're gonna win, but I just don't think they can cover 26 points.
Four touchdowns.
I think they'll win, no doubt about it.
Right. That's fair.
No doubt about it.
That's fair. I may be hung up on that one. I don't know. You got me going back and forth on it now. So we'll come back to that one if anything. App State at Miami. Miami's given up 9. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, we talked about that. I think Miami's going to be okay here. So.
You think Miami's good there?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it'll be a good little bounce back for us after getting our ass kicked, and we should do just that. I'm thinking like a 40-13, 40-14 type game. We should kick their ass. If not,
well, I don't know. I have that much confidence because it is the Hurricanes.
That's true, Dave. Thanks for pointing that out. That's a valid point. What about Buffalo at Nebraska?
Don't know.
So
what did Buffalo do last week?
So let me look it up to make sure. I don't want to tell you one way or another.
Because I don't have a lot of confidence. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Won
So Buffalo.
69-7.
Yeah, they beat the brakes off of Wagner. I mean, granted, it's Wagner, right? But they beat the absolute snot out of them. Wagner's defense, or Wagner didn't hit 100 yards total offense. Buffalo had a turnover and still beat them 69-7.
Yeah.
They ran 28 more plays than they did. They almost ran 80 plays, which is insane, especially with that type of score. They had 300 yards rushing, 250 passing, averaged 8 yards a play. Wagner averaged 2 a play. And then you look at the other side of Nebraska, who's just been absolutely dismal for how long? They lost to Illinois that first week, kind of just gave them the game, really. And then last week they beat the brakes off Fordham in a good bounce-back game. Where they
What's
had.
the line here?
So the line's Nebraska's giving Buffalo 14 points.
Wow. I might go with those points and say, maybe Nebraska wins by 13, but I think I'd roll the dice on little Buffalo here, not to win, but to cover.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I think Nebraska's going to be riding high, thinking they're big bad wolf after beating Fordham 52-7. Buffalo's going to be coming in high, thinking they're big bad wolf, and knowing that they got to compete against. This is their Super Bowl basically this year to Nebraska. So I like Buffalo in the points here too. I think I'm going to stick with it. I had them initially, and I think I'm going to stick with them. What do you think? What do you think about Army Western Kentucky? And then I got one more for you after that. And then I'll let you get to the Cowboys.
Army Western Kentucky both won their games. Again, this one is not one that so we got 7 points.
Oh, it went up. Yep.
To Western Kentucky.
Yeah. Western Kentucky's the underdog in this one.
Fournette.
And I don't know, man. Because Army, I can't remember what. Army is 9-0 straight up in the last 9 home games.
Wow.
Good stat.
Yeah. Western Kentucky is 4-1 straight up in the last 5. Where are they playing?
At Army.
At Army.
Yep.
I'd go Army. I'd lean towards Army, guys.
I personally love Army. I love their coach Munkin, Jeff Munkin. He's an old Georgia Southern guy. He gets his players ready to go. It's kind of Saban-esque. They're very business-like in their preparation and how they handle stuff on game day. Now, granted, it's Army. You know, they sort of signed up for that discipline, but he's got them cooking in the right position. Last year, I think they won 10 games, something like that.
Army's giving up the 6.5, right?
Yep. Western Kentucky's the one favorite on that.
Tom Brady's so good.
He's not making extravagant throws.
So I think I'm definitely on Army on that one. I like Army
I think it's a good call.
to put it up on them. Also for numbers purposes, Western Kentucky last week they played Tennessee Martin. Tennessee Martin rushed for over 200 on them. So I think Army, being an option team as well, I don't think they're gonna have any problem doing the same thing.
Roll 'em up.
Yep. So I love Army. That's probably my pick of the week. I think that's my best bet is the Army game. And then my last one for you, sir, and I'll let you get to your Cowboy. It looks like the Bucks just scored one.
They did.
Of course they did.
Tom Brady is freaking just.
Yep, Godwin right over the middle on a slant.
Godwin's home. I've got Godwin as a receiver, so.
Well, there you
Did
go.
he get a did he get a touchdown?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. So it's a little bittersweet there.
And
for you.
Hindu's playing you. He's right here.
Yeah, Hindu's feeling the hurt right now from it. All right, last game I got is Texas State at Florida International.
Oh, come on.
Oh yeah, I saved the best for last, Mr. Gator Dave.
Florida
Texas State.
International.
All day long.
Oh yeah.
Lord. Florida International and Texas State. I don't know anything about this one.
That's right.
So, Texas State are 0-1, and FIU's 1-0, Conference USA.
Yep.
And they're 1.5 points
Yep, that's it.
for
Oh yeah.
for FIU. Goodness.
What do you think? What's it telling you?
It's telling me I don't have a clue.
Just go FIU. It's 1.5 points. Fuck it.
And since Texas State lost last week and FIU won, I'll go with FIU.
All right. I like it. I mean, that's where I was initially. But actually looking up some stuff, I mean, Texas State played Baylor last week, and
Oh, did they?
yeah, and they had them, what was it? It was 13-24 going into the fourth.
Oh,
It was 14-10 at halftime. So, now granted, Texas State, that was a home game for them. Probably the biggest home game they've maybe ever had, having Baylor in their backyard. So they were probably fired up for that game. They were probably talking about that all off season, where how we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, preparing. They actually competed, came up short. How are they gonna travel to FIU? Warm humidity in Miami.
yeah.
How is that going to affect them? Are they going to have that same fight in the third, fourth quarter to keep it going? I don't know. I think I'm leaning FIU with you as well. FIU, for perspective on their game, they played LIU, the Post Pioneers. I've never heard of them before in my life. But FIU put up 600 total yards in 18 minutes of offense. The other team had the other 38 minutes. So that tells me FIU had this game pretty early, pretty handily, and they, Butch Davis likes to play a lot of his guys, so I could see that happening there. I like FIU here. I think FIU is going to handle business. I think it'll be a good game, but that's who I was going with. That's who I'll stick with. I'll go FIU with
That
you.
makes sense.
I'll go FIU with
Makes
you.
sense. I can go that route.
All right, sir. Well, that was the last game I had for you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Gator Dave. We appreciate
well,
it.
I enjoyed it, guys, and hopefully we'll see you guys soon, and we'll sign off with Go Gators.
Oh man. Oh man.
Thank you for coming on, brother. We appreciate it.
All right, Dave.
All right.
All right. So we'll just end that out of there.
Yeah, in the stream.
Get that going. I will throw up this. I'll leave these picks up where we're rocking with for a second. Give you guys a chance to get those if you haven't already.
I liked it.
Yeah,
Those are good
everyone
picks.
well, man. I think that was a good time. So I'm gonna hop off here on the live. I'll probably jump on maybe in about an hour. So we'll do a little after hours. Maybe we'll do some breaks. Maybe open some stuff, do some rips while we watch this Buccaneers Cowboys game. I'll jump on for the second half, and we can talk some football, talk some NFL picks as well. We got another show coming. I believe tomorrow we're going to do the NFL show. So we'll have an NFL one that we're dropping as well, but we wanted to get you guys the college one first. As a side note, on the Cowboys-Buccaneers game tonight, I took the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going to upset the Super Bowl defending champion Buccaneers. You heard it here, maybe not first, but you heard it here.
Hey, let me ask you something right now while we're watching the first game of the season.
Let's see it.
Who's your prediction for the Super Bowl?
I like the Bills, and I was on the Buccaneers, but I think I'll still stick to Buccaneers. I'll go Bills and Buccaneers.
Okay.
I think the Bucs will kind of do what they did last year. They'll probably lose this first game to go along with what I just said, and then they'll start to click after that and kind of get it going, and they'll wake up like they did last year a little bit. So I'm going Bills, Bucs, and I like Bills to get it done. I like Bills to get it done, win the Super Bowl, end the curse, end the streak that they've had.
Okay.
And bring a Lombardi to Buffalo.
I like it.
That's who I like. What do you got?
I'm going repeat.
Repeat Chiefs, Bucs?
Chiefs, Bucs.
Who wins
Super Bowl. The Bucs.
So true repeat.
True repeat.
You like a repeat all the way around.
True repeat.
That was an interesting play call.
Come on, Zeke.
I think it's Gallup. Or who is that?
Is it?
That's Polar.
Oh, fuck.
Who?
Polar.
Oh, Pollard.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you tuning in for the picks. If you have any questions, throw a comment on the video, like, subscribe. We'll get back and answer you. So, y'all have a great one.
Yep, we're going to go eat some food and watch the first half of this game. Probably be on for the second half. If not on tonight, definitely on tomorrow for the NFL picks and our live breaks at 7 p.m. for Friday. So, peace. Appreciate you watching. Be back shortly. Potentially, probably, most likely, like Lysol % sure.
Oh my gosh, wrap it up.
I'm going to go lock Hindu back in his closet. That's what we do for Harry Potter. He needs to go back in his shed.
Goodbye and good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Hindu looks like Dobby. He smells like him too. Please make sure to send all hate mail to what's your at? What's your at?
At your boy
Charlie
your boy
_YA_BOI. Send all hate mail and
It's not in my fucking Instagram, bro.
It's close enough. It's just whoever's that is, send it to him too. Just hey.